Good afternoon. This is Jay Rovert, the founder and director of the R&B Group. We've been around for over 10 years, starting out in the Northeast, and now we've gone online. And I wanted to introduce my terrific guest, Dr. Miluna Fausch, who's the executive director and CEO of Pitch Perfect Executive Speaking. And Miluna, please say hello and introduce yourself. Probably better than I could have.
Jay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
And, I was going over your Facebook and your LinkedIn, and it seems like you started out in the dramatic arts and speaking and performing even in high school. Am I correct?
Yes, a lot of my training comes from what I call the best training ground in the world for voice and communication and presence, showbiz.
Yes.
So theater, singing, opera. I started in opera actually and went into all sorts of jazz and Broadway. Did film, did television, all of the stages that you can be on and learn from.
And where was your childhood?
I grew up in Indiana, a very small town southeast of Indianapolis called Hope.
Well, that's an interesting title. Interesting name of the town. Probably in the Bill Clinton era, Hope. Well, why don't you, I've noticed, in high school, you were a performer, and then obviously your company is very involved in public speaking, the psychology of speaking, and the psychology of how executives operate within the corporate arena to get their thoughts done the right way so they can influence people. Why don't you start speaking about this and go over a couple of the salient points of what you're doing now in terms of your professional and things that we should know about you.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be one of two things: superstar singer or a race car driver.
Race car driver.
I have a need for speed, love cars, love technology, love Formula One racing. And I've always been in love with the voice, Jay, whether it was a singer, an actor, those radio voices, even a minister, activist, poet. There's something about the frequency of voices when they're healthy and fully expressed. And so I brought together all my years of voice training, training as an actor, care of the professional voice, my psychology degree, my work in corporate, a little bit of corporate work, nonprofits, associations. I sold advertising. I was in sales, all of that, plus all of my spiritual and energy training. And all of that comes together to work with executives and thought leaders. And
I was just going to say, can you go over a little bit more, just talk about your spiritual training and how it enters into your professional life?
Thank you. It's what I want people to understand is our voice has a frequency.
Yes.
And in some circles, we know that we are sound and frequency with a human body, a spaceship attached. We're so much more than our minds or our thoughts. I believe that we are divine. And so one of the things to be healthy and to be successful as an executive or thought leader would be to be fully expressed. And for me, that is a voice that is the correct pitch, easily flowing, a voice we want to listen to, that's easy, compelling. Our words are chosen carefully, the way we deliver in an easy, beautiful, inclusive manner. All of these things matter.
Yes.
And sometimes folks underestimate that so-called soft skills, we call them, and the difference that one voice can make. I want people to know your voice matters. Yes. And of course you can change and build your voice, just like any other physical part or your mind. We're always learning and growing as professionals.
They had a special on one of the jazz shows about Sarah Vaughan, and I couldn't believe what I was listening to. She could be so powerful, loud, and then so soft to listen to. I was just amazed at her range.
She is one of the best, isn't she? And the mastery of that. Back in the day when I sang opera in my undergrad years, we didn't use microphones. You were taught you had to learn how to sing in the mask,
Yep.
produce that voice with air and tone, carry it to the back row of the theater. And of course, now we need to be effective over this small screen
Sure.
because we don't have all the visual cues.
Yeah.
I don't get to see you walk in the room, Jay. I don't get to shake your hand right now. In fact, you and I have never physically met yet.
No. And it may be a while.
Could be a couple of years, right?
Well, thank God for Zoom.
So we love Zoom.
Yes. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the corporations you're looking for, the type of businesses? What is your target market in terms of your conglomeration of all your various talents and skills?
Thank you. It's CEOs who are out in the public and really, really, really care how their company, what that voice is, that message, that brand, that it's heard. Also, they care about their employees and they care about what's being put out there intellectually, right? Intellectual property, the commercials, whatever, the marketing, it's all of that. Thought leaders, that could be an author or the founder of a movement, and their voice positively, absolutely must be heard. And their message must be received, and they want to do everything possible to ensure they are influential, positively impacting, and effective in their voice and delivery.
I think that's very key because the corporations are going to get more and more in trouble, whether it's break-ins in technology, whether it's not treating clients and customers correctly. I think you're going to see more and more scandals. I still remember the Philip Morris thing back in the late 90s and how the stock went from like 100 down to 8. So why don't you talk more about that? Because that is so important and that is so much in demand.
Well, it is. And for example, I have a woman now who's auditioning for a TED Talk. So that would be another opportunity of huge impact in the world. I believe, and we're going into next year, is the return of the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
And the age of the artist. Now, I know you and I are very excited about that.
Totally in tune.
Right, left and right brain. We're whole people showing up with solutions and humanity and heart. And what that means to me. Now, I also read something interesting on LinkedIn that is also the year of the character. And I thought, well, since when was character never in style or fashion? But apparently most people need to be told this for whatever reason. The return of character. Well, it's about time, as you mentioned, and it's about time we ran our companies responsibly. And so when we are careful in our words, and with my clients, we might get out the dictionary. We need to really understand, is that the word you mean?
Yeah.
Or is there a better word? And one of my superpower abilities is to be able to suggest this word has a different frequency. It has a different meaning. We hear it differently. Let's try it on in your voice for your authenticity and see what works, what feels right to the client.
Miluna, can you speak a little bit all the way out there on the left coast? You've been visiting us at the R&B group and have been quite loyal and have been making some very interesting introductions and helpful ones. Kindly speak a little bit about why you attend, what you're seeing, why you like it, what you think might be sort of individual and different from other groups. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Thank you, Jay. Well, you invited me and you and I connected and we could tell that we had similar values. And let's use that word character. Let's throw that word in again. It's a wonderful word. The group is it's very positive. It's very empowering. It's also no nonsense because if someone is acting badly and ego, it's all about me. I've heard that Mr. J. Rovert may not extend an invitation to attend again.
Yeah, very likely.
Heard that through the grapevine. The folks are giving. and truly understand business referrals. So what I mean by that is I'm a person who naturally wants to help people and connect them. And I will ask that question and make that introduction. You don't have to ask me more than once.
No.
I'm tuning into who do I need to introduce them to? How can I help them forward their business and their mission in life? And I've found a lot of similar people within your group. They're kind, they're smart, they're savvy, they're across industries, because it would be boring if we were all in similar industries. How fun would that be? That would be very limiting and small.
Absolutely. Well, by design, we don't want that to happen. So, Miluna, appreciate those kind words. How about a couple of closing comments that you'd like to announce to our audience and to whoever has the opportunity to view this video?
I just want to again remind folks, one voice can change everything. So if you believe that the way you speak or your voice doesn't matter, I want you to reconsider that, because a movement, a change happens with one person, and usually that person's voice.
Yep.
And in the bigger scheme, I want to invite you to have a conversation with Jay or one of us and see if this group would fit your values. And like attracts like, so good people attract good people. And I invite you to, get with one of us and just talk to us about our experience. Maybe you're our very next member.
I can't wait for you to do repeat commercials for us, Miluna. And I'm so thrilled. It was sort of like an affection at first sight. I think it was the first day we joined the C-Suite group, and we connected immediately on many different levels. And we're still very good buddies today. So I thank you so much for taking the time. It's a little awkward looking at the camera and not looking at you, but it's been a wonderful interview. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you on January 12th.
It is my pleasure. Thank you, Jay.